Hi, I'm Kingani, or you can call me KJ for short. I have cerebral palsy and psychosis. I struggle to correct the false realities of my illness. Before music therapy, there was a lot of struggle, a lot of things I didn't understand. I had puzzling thoughts. And when I concentrated too much, those thoughts turned into nightmares. When I met Tony and started music therapy, it was like I jumped into deep water and started swimming.
What's our thing? You had an idea.
Okay, my idea is something jazzy.
Jazzy. Okay. Do we want like happy jazzy?
Happy jazz sounds good, yeah. Stargazing in the moonlight, people dancing in the strobe lights, birds flying in the springtime, everybody's happy, everybody's dancing. Because love lights the sky. With Tony's help, music therapy helped me to heal. Music takes me on a journey where I feel safe and I can express myself freely and openly without judgment from human eyes. I am free to be myself and not what anyone else wants me to be. In the music I create, I hope to pass the same effect that music had on me to someone else. I love music. Music is my world.
I am so incredibly grateful and humbled to be here. Thank you. Super honored to talk alongside such great thought leaders, and also to be here to talk about something that I love, and that is music therapy. It's a real privilege to celebrate our bodies and brains that are so fearfully and wonderfully made, and that remain a mystery to us despite all that we know. Music is also a beautiful mystery. Individually and collectively, we as humans recognize the power of music to motivate and inspire us, mark day-to-day routines as well as really important life events, underscore our worship, move us, change us, and even heal us. This healing effect of music has been seen in various cultures and eras. Recall with me a biblical story, circa 1025 BC, when a young man named David played his harp for Saul, who would become refreshed and well, and the distressing spirit would depart from him, as in 1 Samuel 16, verse 23. Subsequent to that, music as therapy has been experienced and articulated in many different ways. For the sake of time, though, We will fast forward to the 1940s when soldiers returned to the USA from World War II. For now, we are going to focus on music therapy as practiced in the United States, not, however, to negate that music therapy is a global profession, but to respect our time frame. And for more information, if you'd like, the World Federation of Music Therapy website is here, which really clearly shows music therapy as a global profession. And the website for music therapy in the United States is musictherapy.org. Feel free to look through those in your own time. I'm going to go back to the United States in the 1940s. Music as therapy was recognized and used in most of the Veterans Administration hospitals in the US, and an official policy on the use of music in military hospitals stated that music should be used to assist in physical reconditioning, educational reconditioning, resocialization, and neuropsychiatric treatment. At this point, most music therapy services were delivered by musicians and hospital workers, and the need for formalized training became evident. In response to this, the National Association of Music Therapy was established in 1950, thereby formalizing the profession of music therapy. The National Association of Music Therapy focused on establishing educational and training standards and procedures for certification of music therapists, creating the first credential for music therapists, Registered Music Therapist, RMT. In 1964, the American Association for Music Therapy was founded, and it also focused on the development of education and clinical training, certification, research, and practice for music therapists. To further increase and unify their impact in the United States, the two associations joined together in 1998 to form the American Music Therapy Association. This association defines music therapy as the clinical and evidence-based use of music to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program. Now that's a mouthful. It is, however, going to provide the framework for our talk today, and we're going to spend a little time unpacking this definition phrase by phrase. Firstly, music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music. That means that music therapy as a profession is informed by theory from other fields such as medicine, psychology, neurology, and music, and also music therapy-specific theories since the inception of the field, research, and practice. Inherent in the theory are the philosophical underpinnings and principles that underscore various approaches to music therapy. Research that informs music therapists' work includes quantitative, qualitative, mixed methods, and arts-based research, all rigorous ways of answering and generating interesting questions related to how music therapy works. Music therapy practice can also form the basis for growth and ongoing practice, as questions and answers are also generated through our clinical work. I know I have learned so much from the clients with whom I have worked, and I am constantly grateful and indebted to them for the lessons they have taught me. So, music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music. Music therapists engage clients in the music and music-making process, facilitating active participation through playing, singing, moving, and listening. And yes, listening can be really active, as some of you are demonstrating right now, and some maybe not. These usually occur in the context of 4 methods of music therapy. The first is recreative music therapy, which is where we facilitate individuals or groups in recreating music that already exists. For example, A music therapist engages a group of people with Alzheimer's disease or dementia in singing preferred and familiar songs from their youth. They might also be playing percussion instruments or tone chimes to create their own instrumental arrangements of these songs. Or a group of adolescents in a psychiatric residential treatment facility working with a music therapist to form a band and learn to play cover songs of their preferred music. On the surface, this may look like just group music making, but in both groups, the music therapist is working towards goals of increased meaningful socialization and connection, because music is one of the ways where we naturally connect with each other. In the group of people with Alzheimer's disease, they're also working toward memory and recall, improved quality of life, maintenance of gross and possibly even fine motor skills if they're playing instruments, and having fun, something that is really important also. By working together as a band, the adolescents are not only working toward musical outcomes through learning to play instruments, but they are also working towards skills inherent in playing together, such as active listening, teamwork, emotion regulation, and conflict resolution. They are also working toward improved self-esteem through accomplishing something they set out to do and acquiring new skills and self-expression through music. Receptive music therapy is where we facilitate the therapeutic process by the patient receiving the music. This is still an active process. An example is a patient in pre or post-operatively who is guided through a music-supported relaxation, thereby actively receiving music and benefiting from decreased stress, distraction from the perception of pain, and reassurance through empathic connection and support that occurs through the music. Facilitating discussions about songs or song lyrics to catalyze improved insight, emotional expression, self-awareness, and/or connection in individuals or groups is also an example of receptive music therapy. Compositional music therapy is where we compose music together with clients with the purpose of music lasting beyond the session in which it is made. For an example, a person experiencing homelessness engages in therapeutic songwriting over a series of sessions and shares their story, feelings, and thoughts through a song. This attends to their voices and may even magnify them if they choose to record and share their music with others. This has the potential to not only impact the individual, but also those with whom they choose to share their songs. Improvisational music therapy is where we make the music up as we go, and it lasts for the moment in which it exists. An example of this would be a group of veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder drumming together in a group drumming intervention. Here, the music therapist facilitates a group music-making experience where everyone plays percussion instruments together, working towards goals of emotional and self-expression, teamwork, and meaningful connection and socialization. Or possibly an autistic boy who is nonverbal being met in music by the music therapist as they make music together that provides acceptance, connection, and affirmation without either of them having to use words. Each of these methods, as described above, can be used to reach individualized goals, whether in the context of individual or group music therapy sessions. These goal areas may include some of the ones just described and usually fall in the following categories: activities of daily living, cognition, communication, emotion, motor, musical, recreation and play, socialization, spiritual, vocational, wellness. Music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music to accomplish individualized goals We work on these goals with people across the lifespan, all the way from pre-birth to end of life, in a wide variety of settings. We often work with people with diagnoses, and we'll briefly go through a list, not to define people by diagnoses, but to understand some of the challenges they may face in living with a particular diagnosis, thereby being able to develop treatment plans to best serve and support them through music therapy interventions. And this often happens collaboratively between the music therapist and the client. We serve people with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, communication disorders, developmental delays, dual diagnoses, Down syndrome, failure to thrive, intellectual disabilities, learning disorders, legal system involvement, mental health and psychiatric diagnoses, multiply disabled, neuromuscular disorders, physically impaired, post-traumatic stress disorder, sensory impairments, and traumatic brain injury. And this is not an extensive list. This is the wide range of people that we serve, inclusive of those. We serve them in the following settings. You can take a moment to look through those. And again, this is not an extensive list. So going back to our definition, music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship. And this therapeutic relationship is defined by the American Music Therapy Association official documents, including the Code of Ethics, the Scope of Practice, the Standards of Clinical Practice, which include referral and acceptance, assessment, program planning, implementation, documentation, termination of services, continuing education. It also includes a set of professional competencies which are delineated in the areas of music, clinical foundations, and music therapy, and also advanced competencies for professional and practice and development. This therapeutic relationship happens with a credentialed professional. So the qualifications for a credentialed professional in the United States are that they attend an American Music Therapy Association approved school to complete a 4-year undergraduate degree or 2-year graduate equivalency or professional studies program in music therapy. They also complete a full-time 6 to 9 month internship, which totals around 1,040 hours. And then they take the Certified Board for Music Therapists examination, which leads to them obtaining the credential of Music Therapist Board Certified. They then practice according to the Certification Board of Music Therapy Code of Professional Practice and maintain continuing education over a 5-year cycle. Options for further education include master's and doctoral degrees, and also specialized field training, for example, in guided imagery and music, neonatal intensive care unit music therapy, which is a very specifically honed and practice, and neurologic music therapy. So to recap, music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy degree. We'll spend the last few minutes talking about a few select, and these are not all of them, but a few select principles of music therapy. First of all, music is found throughout the brain. This is powerful. The neural network for music processing is highly specialized and widely distributed. What this means is that it's a little different than language, for example, which is highly specialized and also highly localized. Language is found in the brain in two smaller areas, highly specialized and localized, called Broca's and Wernicke's. If a lesion occurs in either of these areas, significant deficits occur in speech or language processing. However, patients who have experienced strokes and cannot speak are still able to sing, including all the words of some of the songs that they've known before. And that is because music is highly specialized and also widely distributed in our brains. Thanks to the neuroplasticity of our brains, we are also able to use music to form detours around the damaged areas, creating new neural pathways that allow us to rehabilitate speech by starting with singing. A really great example of this is the music therapy work that occurred with Senator Gabby Giffords, who was shot and had a traumatic brain injury. And if you'd like to spend some time looking at that work, feel free to look at those 3 YouTube links. Rhythm is the organizer and energizer. Our whole brains and bodies respond to rhythm, and rhythm in turn helps us organize our bodies and brains. Our heartbeat and breathing are internal examples of this. And through music, we are able to influence and organize these and other rhythmic aspects of our being. For example, speech and language, movements and coordination, cognition and thoughts, and even our emotions and emotion regulation. As foundational as is rhythm to the work we do as music therapists, so is musical preference. Musical preference develops across the lifespan, although most prominently between the ages of 16 and 22, and is influenced by multiple factors such as culture, personality type, emotion and mood, across time and even in the moment. So the music you might want to listen to now would be different than the music you'd like to listen to tomorrow, or maybe an hour from now. Using client-preferred music is therefore one of the most important guiding principles and requires music therapists across the world to practice in ways that are client-centered, consistently exercising cultural sensitivity and humility. We therefore use a wide variety of genres to actively engage people in music toward therapeutic ends. Now, at this point, you may ask, but what about you fill in the blank, music? Surely it can't be helpful and therapeutic. That's a great thought, in that music, as much as it has the potential to be helpful, can also be harmful. However, I'd encourage you to suspend your judgments of types of music and think about the fact that it is less about the specific genre of music and more about the intention and knowledge with which it is used. For example, 2 children's songs with wholesome messages are listed as having made the top 10 songs used as torture in Guantanamo, an interrogation and holding facility for prisoners of war. And there are studies that show that good music increases the likelihood of people complying with requests from an authority figure to harm others. As much as it breaks my heart that music, something that is so beautiful, creative, helpful, and dear to me, has the potential to cause harm, it would be irresponsible of me as a clinician who uses music as the primary medium of facilitation and transformation to disregard this potential. As a board-certified music therapist, this knowledge calls me to great responsibility and intentionality in learning as much as I can as I actively engage people in music toward the accomplishments of their goals. And as a person, it calls me to use music in my own life in ways that are intentional, healthy, and beneficial to my well-being, that I may best love and serve God and others with all my heart, soul, and mind. Even though that may look different for you than for me, I invite you to use music intentionally and therapeutically in your own life, and as necessary, to seek the support of professionals and friends in so doing, just as Saul did. As one Bible commentator says, David's task was not to entertain Saul, and Saul did not choose him solely for his musical skills. An evil spirit was badly upsetting Saul. Saul needed music to comfort him. Saul realized that he had ruined his relationship with God, so Saul chose a musician who had a strong relationship with God. David, the first music therapist? Maybe. Since then, we have learned so much, and we have hard evidence to show that our brains and bodies are hardwired for music. This provides us with awe-inspiring opportunities for connection, inspiration, and healing. What a beautiful fact and mystery.